Hello everybody, it is Randy here, back for week number 9 of the GBA D League. It is finally that time for the season finale, regular season finale of the GBA D League. It seems like just like not even like last week we were drafting and like getting our first DMs saying we got in to the D League, which is it's crazy. This season has flown by. We're already I'm already halfway done with school, and it's crazy how fast it's flown by. And I can genuinely say I've had so much fun building and playing everybody. So it's been so much fun. Again, just thank you to everybody who allowed this to happen. So anybody has ever been involved with me, you guys know, you guys are a part of it as well. But nonetheless, this is the season finale, biggest game of the season. A lot of stipulation with this last week. In terms of like the last playoffs spot. So I'll go ahead and talk about that in a second. But first, make sure you guys check out our opponent, AsterJ, coach of the Montreal Habsols. We are playing them in the final week. They are coming off an extremely weird loss to Greg last week. So then they're at 6-2 right now, who were at once 6-0. So they've actually dropped 2 straight, which is pretty crazy. But it's a huge match for sure, because I'll let you guys know why. But make sure you guys go check out Aster. Really cool guy. His battles are pretty nice, and his building is cool. He's just a cool guy. I recommend watching his battles. Really cool. So with all of that being said, make sure you guys go support Aster. And if you guys did not catch last week's battle, we actually did pick up a win against the GlitchxCity. So if you guys haven't seen that or any of the past battles, go ahead and check it out. But nonetheless, we are sitting at 5-3. And as you can see here from these standings, we are at 5-3 with a +7 differential. And if you see those X's above us, next to Toronto, Montreal, and Durham, those X's mean they have clinched their playoff spot. Seeding is subject to change. And then everyone with the 0, or I guess the O, they are actually eliminated from playoff contention. So as you can see, there are 3 spots, 3 people alive still for playoffs, and only 1 spot left. The Rangers, the Clefable, and the Drizzlies. Now, I'm going to go over each little scenario that needs to happen for each team. I tried my best to make sure I do all this right so I don't butcher it. But, of course, for yours truly, the Rangers, we get in with a win, no matter what. It could be a 1-0 win. It could be a 6-0 win. It could be a 0-0 win. I guess that's possible. But, yeah, if we win, we're in no matter what. It doesn't matter what happens with the Clefable. It doesn't matter what happens with Memphis. It's just we win, we're in. That simple. We control our own destiny, which is a good position to be in. Or if we get in, or we don't even need to win, we can actually lose. But if Memphis loses as well, and LA, more so LA, because if Memphis loses, they're out of it completely, and so is LA. So if they both lose and we lose, we're in. So it doesn't matter. As long as they lose, we're good to go. But last week, unfortunately, LA did stay alive. Greg fighting like a champion. Gotta respect that to stay in here. So the bottom line is, if we win, we're in. That's all we need to worry about. But just for the just details of this video, if we lose, the highest differential we can lose by is just 2, mathematically. That's like the right way to lose. So let me go ahead and say that again. If we lose 0-2 or less, we're guaranteed to get in no matter what. So I can lose 0-2 in this battle, and I can be happy because that's a guaranteed shot I'm in. But if I lose 0-3 or bigger, like 0-4, 0-5, 0-6, then LA does have the mathematical shot of winning. But he needs to beat down Leo pretty well, because both Clefable and Drizzlies, the highest differential they can finish with, because assuming they win, the highest differential they can finish with is +5 and +1 respectively. So obviously, if you look at my differential, if I were to get 6-0'd, I'd fall to +1, and if Greg were to get a 6-0, he'd be at +5. So that would obviously be the case. But if I were to lose 0-2, I'd be at +5, and if he were to 6-0 Leo, he'd be at +5. But I would get in because I beat him earlier in the season, week 1, which is going to turn out to be maybe a huge impact depending on what happens. And of course, Memphis, the only way they can get in is if LA loses, and if they beat Jolt 6-0 and I get 0-6, because Memphis did beat me earlier. Because if I were to get 0-6, I'd be at +1, and if he were to 6-0 Jolt, he'd be at +1, and then he wins a head-to-head tiebreaker. So Memphis is hoping for a miracle, more so like just hoping somebody else gets 6-0'd. So I'm sure he won't be thinking about it too much. He's had a great season despite his start. He bounced back really awesome. So I'm sure he's happy with whatever happens. He can actually finish above Greg depending on what happens. But so yeah, the bottom line is, if we win, we're in. But we can actually afford to lose this match, but it can't be greater than a 2 differential. So we're shooting for an 0-2 differential or a win. That's all we're shooting for. I won't know any of the results before we go into the matchup, as we usually do. So I have to go into this matchup as a must-win situation. So that's the bottom line there, guys. So your Rangers, win, and we're in. If not, 0-2, that's all we can afford. But that's the playoff standings. Pretty tight race so far. But yeah, guys, we have a pretty big roadblock in front of us. The Montreal Habsols 6-2 plus 14 differential. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into our regular season finale, possibly our season finale, last match of the GBA League. So here we go. Shaka Zulu in the way, of course. 9th straight start. Been in every single matchup. Very predictable, but yes, it gives you the best chance to win. Running this a standard, just a standard mixed set, similar to last week's set with U-turn, grass, not wall charge, Thunderbolt. The wall charge and Thunderbolt, along with the Z Crystal, allows me to break through something that I know is probably bulkier on a specific side. Examples being Cresselia, which is probably going to be more of a physically defensive set to check my Halucha, or an Umbreon, which could be Spadef to check Hydreigon or something like that. So, depending on the damage I see it take, I can always go for the Z move on that thing. Although those 2 mons are kind of likely to run protect, more so Umbreon, but Cresselia not really. So that's something I will keep in mind throughout the battle, that they could have protect and they can just get rid of my Z move, or even anything else that wants to be safe from a Z move. He can run protect, as similar to what Jolt did against me earlier in the season. So Grass Knot is my way of hitting Piloswine. Yeah, his team's on the right side of the screen, by the way. You guys always know I do that. But yeah, Thunderous Eye, Salamence, Infernape, Cresselia, Metagross, Decidueye, Umbreon, Quillfish, Piloswine, Mega Blastoise, and Zangoose. So yeah, like I said, Coco, I mean, if he didn't have Piloswine, I would have brought a Specs Coco and just put a foot in ham. But obviously, he's going to have a ground type. He's not dumb. So I think Piloswine will show up 100%, because if he does not bring Piloswine, he's screwed, because Specs Coco would just run him over. Not that I would bring Specs Coco. I mean, honestly, it does still work here, because even Fairy Spam's decent against them, because it only resists is the Metagross and Quillfish. But I mean, you don't switch in Quillfish on the top of Coco. I mean, you just don't do that. So it is something I thought about, but overall, the Z move is just the greatest set, I think, right now, because it could easily just nuke something, which is the ideal scenario. And of course, it outspeeds everything pretty comfortably, so I'm able to run a lot more investment in my attack. That way I can deal damage with wall charge if need be, so that's really good. But yeah, nothing else to say here. Shaka Zulu is probably going to win the league MVP with all the kills it's gotten. Some of it's been garbage time kills, but I mean, nonetheless, it's gotten many kills, so I think regardless of what happened this week, I'm pretty sure it's going to be MVP no matter what. So in terms of kills, but yeah, and it's definitely carried my team to where it is now. So I mean, I think it is MVP contender. It has to be, right? But next up, we got Halucha, the partner in crime, Roberto, coming in for the 9th straight start. Once again, you guys know what this does. I bring it every damn week. It's Electric Seed on Burden. Now, I'm a little hesitant about it this week, but it still does work. It does a lot of work, although he has some pretty decent checks, like a Mega Blastoise with max defense, or a Quillfish with max defense can actually check it somewhat as well. But besides that, he has nothing else to check it, realistically. Thunderous Eye can be Prankster T-Wave if he's going to wants to do that, but honestly, it probably could end up being Prankster. I even forgot I got Prankster, to be honest, so... but yeah, because I haven't seen it like Prankster in a while, because Thunder Wave got nerfed and all that stuff. But anyways, yeah, just a standard set here. I'm running enough speed to outrun a Jolly or Timid, I guess, Mence without a speed boost. So even if I were to switch this thing out, it'd still be decent against them if I have to switch out at some point in time, which I might have to. I mean, honestly, I could probably run Jolly and just not run like a bulkier spread. I could probably run Jolly and outspeed everything else and be able to bring it in and out no matter what. So if I do change that, I'll let you guys know, but usually I want to be adamant to do as much damage as I can with acrobatics, because stuff like Thunderous Eye and Infernape does outspeed this right now if you were to come in without a Electric Seed. But obviously you get my point. If I were to switch it out and bring it back in, it'd be useful. But yeah, Rock Slide is specifically for that Thunderous Eye, because I needed to hit that because it resists my stab moves. Acrobatics does more to Salamence, so I'm never ever going to click Rock Slide against Salamence. Acrobatics will always be the play, unless I need to go for a flinch or something in case it comes down to that. But yeah, that's why I have Rock Slide there. Otherwise, Dream Punch is safer to hit Umbreon. Umbreon can't do much to me with Foul Play because I do resist and I do have a defense boost, so that's pretty good. Although I do have to be careful about it, setting up Swords Dance on it. I did consider Bulk Up, but there's a possibility he'll probably be running Roar on his Umbreon, so Swords Dance seems like it could be a waste, or even even Bulk Up too. But Swords Dance in case I need to break through Cresselia, if it's even possible, if it's chipped. But yeah, Roberto and Shaka Zulu have been keeping me alive throughout the season. So hopefully they can keep me alive for one last game. So yeah, next up we have Ray the Hydreigon, who has not done much this season. It's I don't know, like I like Hydreigon, but I think after this season I'm not really a big fan of it, like in terms of like being able to do a lot of damage, because it's so weak to Fairy, and that's huge because Fairy obviously shuts down this Pokemon. But I feel like this game it could probably prove me wrong. Yes, he does have Infernape. Yes, he does have a Salamence. But besides that, he can't really do much to this thing besides maybe Toxic or something from his Umbreon. Obviously, Cresselia gets Moonblast to check this thing. Moonblast doesn't even one-shot me, so I can get off a nice hit to break its Cobra Berry potentially, or whatever the case may be. But I'm running a sub workup set. Shout out to the youngster Bill from Discord. I believe his YouTube user is Chow or Chowd. I don't remember, but yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. I think he's going to be in my front office in the future whenever I need him. But he suggested this set, and honestly, I mean, I knew Hydreigon gets workup, but I didn't think it could be a possible use in this league. But I think we finally found, you know, a matchup to where it can actually do something. And arguably, I could run Roost over workup and run like Life Orb to be similar to like a Kyurem subset with like 2 attacks. And I could probably, that's probably the better set to run, but maybe there will be a chance to where I can set up workup to do some damage to something. So ideally, this thing is to come in on Umbreon, Cresselia, although it's probably going to run Moonblast, but in the off chance it doesn't, I'm still going to come in and sub on it. It can come in on the Thunderous Eye, maybe. I know it gets Superpower and HP Ice, but you know, I mean, he might think I'm Scarf initially, so I could force out a switch. And you know, comes in on Decidueye, completely shuts down Decidueye no matter what. Comes in on Metagross. Metagross does get, you know, fighting stat, but I mean fighting coverage, but obviously if he's low enough, you know, or if he wants to save it for maybe the check something else, he could always switch out. But yeah, this thing can come in on a lot of things and sub up. Something come in on Coolfish as well. I can substitute up. Probably can't work up that easily, but depending on what he brings in, something passive, I can probably work up potentially. So Dark Pulse, Dragon Pulse, my stab attacks. He really doesn't have much to deal with this. He doesn't have a Fairy type. Let me double check it. Yeah, he doesn't have a Fairy type, so that's really good for me. I could just spam a Dark Pulse a lot of the time. His only Dark Resist is the Umbreon, and of course, like I said before, I can sub up on Umbreon, which is fantastic in case you want to Toxic me. But again, Umbreon is more likely going to run Wish, Protect, Foul Play, Toxic / Roar. If he doesn't want Protect, he can get rid of Protect. You know, it really doesn't matter for me as long as I'm able to get in on Umbreon and set up. That's the ideal goal here. So this set is pretty damn good on paper. Obviously, Infernape threatens me offensively, but if I can get a free sub up, he brings in Infernape. Maybe he goes for like a Scarf U-turn. I can fire off a free Dragon Pulse to do some damage to whatever comes in, or even the Infernape if he's not going to U-turn. So yeah, so hopefully Ray does something good here. I feel like it can. Hopefully, I'm just hoping it can. It has the potential to. Of course, the speed here is enough to outrun Modest Blastoise max speed. I'm a little worried because my front office people were telling me to run Timid, or I mean to run Modest to outrun Blastoise and Modest. But in the off chance Aster runs Timid, I probably should run an outspeed to outrun Timid. But I mean, it's a 50-50 here, and I'm taking the risk here. If he runs Timid, he's going to be able to outspeed me and probably nearly one-shot me with Aura Sphere. So I'm hoping he doesn't bring that. I mean, ideally he'd bring like a physically defensive Blastoise because to check Hawlucha, which I think he will be. So that's the ideal situation here. So yeah. Next up, we have the Two-Face, the Meloetta. Now, I have not brought the Purette form all season long. I really thought about bringing it against Dan and even Jolt, but I couldn't find a way to have enough defensive checks to you know, to be able to face them. But here I do have my checks in the back, so we are gonna rock out with Meloetta Purette form, Adamant max speed. I'm actually able to outrun his Thundurus by 1 point in this form, as Thundurus Incarnate hits 179 speed, Timid max, so that's really good. Obviously if he's Prankster, well, yeah, I got screwed, but yeah, I mean, dual stab, Ice Punch, fantastic set here. Overall, it outspeeds this whole team, so he can like deal with Infernape, close combat, one shots, return, nearly one shots Thundurus as well. I think it does actually, if I'm not mistaken. It could deal with, does a lot of damage to Metagross close combat. I mean, overall, it's great. It's able to deal with Umbreon and Piloswine, which is annoying for the team because all I have is Hawlucha for that thing. But the main goal for this Meloetta is to take down that Piloswine, because if I get rid of Piloswine, Tapu Koko will be able to click Thunderbolt for free at any point in time, which is the goal, because Tapu Koko needs to come in and win the game. And if Tapu Koko's not able to do that, then and if Piloswine sticks around, then that could be a big issue, because Piloswine actually does a pretty decent amount to my team, because it can actually deal with Ray, deal with Hawlucha somewhat, and it can deal with Tapu Koko. You know, more so offensively than defensively, and like when we're referring to Hawlucha. So yeah, I mean, this set's awesome. I could bring it in on Quillfish, the Psychic, you know, to like, you know, scare him out. I can get my free Relic Song. I could scare out the Decidueye. Probably not Decidueye. Well, yeah, I can scare him out because all he has is Ghost type attacks, and I'm normal. So scare out Decidueye. I can scare out maybe Metagross if he's afraid, but probably not. I can scare out for sure. I mean, I could bring this in like on any threat that I could deal with offensively, because he won't know if I'm Scarf or not, because I'm not really known to bring Scarf Bonds to battle. So I have two decently good Scarf Bonds to have to threaten with my Meloetta and my Hydreigon. And Scarf Hydreigon actually isn't bad in this game, so he's probably going to be expecting a Scarf Hydreigon. So, but anyways, yeah, I mean, the key is to get a Relic Song off as free as I can, because his Meloetta takes too much damage and it's not going to be able to stick around too much. That's the risk of running Life Orb, but I mean, that's the most damage I needed to be able to do to injure the Blastoise, injure the, you know, Piloswine, even though Piloswine will never come in on this thing, whether in base form or Purette form. So yeah, I mean, overall it's just good. It's a speedy mon. It can do a lot of decent, I guess, decent wall breaking, I guess. I mean, with close combat. I mean, that's what it's there for. So, but yeah, I mean, hopefully Two-Face can do its thing. She's been doing great all season, so, and in her regular form. But yeah, next up we have No Name Jellicent coming through once again with a bulky Rocky Helmet set. This is pretty similar to the set I ran against Dan to check the Crocoon. And here, of course, this is mainly my check to the Cresselia and the Umbreon. I can taunt them, I can Toxic, I can just, you know, go for some free Scalds. Rocky Helmet, of course, is to get some chip on that Ments in case I need to put it in range of Hawlucha's Acrobatics, or even like, I guess, Tapu Koko's Thunderbolt if he doesn't have a speed boost or whatever. I mean, generally, it's also a good way to check Metagross, I guess, in case Metagross is a threat. But Rocky Helmet's just good here, just to chip Salamence mainly. Standard set here, nothing else really to explain. This is just enough speed to outrun. Speed ties against 20 speed Cresselia, 16 speed, I outrun 16 speed Cresselia. He might creep a little bit more than that just to be sure he does not get outsped by Jellicent, but if that's the case, then so be it. So yeah, yeah, that's the set there. Sorry, that's my lights falling down. This green screen on my chair, man. I always knock over my lights, but yeah. But anyways, so finally we have Mach Fiber coming in, closing out the team. This is going to be the closing piece, the last piece of the puzzle for Week 9 team. And as you can tell here, this set is a little funky. I know what you're thinking. Like, what the hell is this supposed to do, Randy? This is garbage set, but this set was actually suggested by D. Lindomar, part of my front office. Again, cool guy. But yeah, I was considering a regular Assault Vest set, but Thundurus, like, Mega Blastoise was becoming a problem offensively for the team that I was originally going to bring. So I just brought a max special defense set to check Thundurus. It checks a special Infernape if it's not Nasty Plot, which I mean, it could be. Obviously, it counters Cresselia. It deals with Decidueye pretty damn well too. Deals with Umbreon. And of course, it can actually deal with Mega Blastoise defensively great. So this set actually allows me to 1v1 Mega Blastoise and 1v1 some other Fat Mons in case I need to. So unless they have Taunt, but I'm not sure if he's going to have Taunt on Cresselia or Umbreon. That's probably not. But yeah, I mean, he's probably going to expect AV Muck if anything, so that's good. Or even like a Berry set. But with this set, I can Infestation on a Blastoise, probably hoping for him to go for an Aura Sphere or a Scald Burn. Scald and Aura Sphere do the same amount of damage. I think it's like 24 to 28%. So after Black Sludge, it's not even a 4-shot, which is perfect. And I do have Protect too, so if I can Infestation, I can Screech to get his defense drop by 2 stages. Depending on where I'm at in HP, I can Protect, let Infestation do some damage, and then go start spamming Knockoff to knock him out. If not, put him just in range of another Mon to bring it in. So this Muck can actually be a decent, I guess stall breaker, so to speak, because I mean, if they don't have Taunt, obviously this thing will just shut them down. But the ideal situation is for me to just trap in the Blastoise, trap in the Umbreon or the Cresselia, and be able to knock those things out. I mean, I'm not really too afraid of Umbreon because, like, Umbreon is so damn passive to where, like, most of my Mons can come in on it and do some damage or set up a Relic Song, a Sub, Workup, SD or whatever. That's like the problem. So I mean, Cresselia and Umbreon, yes, they're really annoying and fat, but fortunately I have stuff like Alolan Muck, I have Hydreigon, I have Mega Scizor, which destroys both of them. So I feel like he'd be really hesitant to bring those two, but if he does bring them, it's going to help me a lot. But they will be annoying because he'll play around keeping those two things safe. So that's going to be kind of the problem. But overall, this set could actually just completely destroy some of his fatter mons that might, get in the way of me winning this game. So, hopefully, I'm able to do that. I could definitely see him trying like a more hyper offensive approach and leaving behind those two. But if he doesn't bring like Umbreon for like wish passing for his Blastoise and his Piloswine, which I'm sure those two will come, then I can just always chip away with Coco's U-turn or like chip Dark Pulse, Dragon Pulse, some knockoffs. Ideally that's the goal here. So that's the team, guys. We have a pretty decent lineup. You got the two predictable mons. You got a pretty heat set here. You got a Meloetta making his debut in Purette form. Standard Jellicent, which has been helping me out all season, and Fiber running a bit of a crazier set. So this is the team for week number 9. Again, guys, the goal is to win no matter what. Obviously, that's always the goal. But if we do lose by a differential of 2 or less, then we know for sure we are safe and we will make the playoffs. So that's that. Sorry for the long team builder, but I wanted to go over that playoff implications because it's huge. Because like I said, all we need to do is win or lose by 0-2 or less. That's all we got to hope for. But ideally, we're in the position to where we control our own destiny, so we don't have to worry about anybody else. We just got to go in there, play hard, hopefully get the dub, and go to 6-3 on the season, and just give us a shot at the tournament. I don't care what happens. I don't care who we play. There are people I prefer to play, but it doesn't matter because all I want is a shot at the tournament. And with my front office, and hopefully if I correct my mistakes, I'll take my chances against anybody. So I thank you all for the support. No matter what, if this is the last team builder, if it's the second to last team builder, if it's the third to last team builder, I hope you guys enjoy these team builders. Again, I do plan on changing these things for my future leagues because Showdown is kind of ugly, but I'll figure it out, guys. I thank you all for the support, and I will see you guys tomorrow for what may be our final battle of the GBA D League Season 3. Go Rangers!